As we settle into our practice this early morning, let's feel into our bodies. Notice any sensations that call to you, that ask for your attention. And then also notice your emotional and mental responses to these areas that call your attention. It's important to see how we're responding to our bodies. Is there fear? Is there joy? Is there a desire to fix? Is there frustration? And see if you can hold both your physical sensations and your emotional response in a loving and kind awareness. They both exist. They aren't right or wrong. There they are, the sensation and the response. Settling into witness mode. See if you can take them both in. The various sensations and the responses. This is a marriage between body and spirit. And marriages aren't always easy. This is a lifelong connection that we can work on any or all the time. As you acknowledge the sensations and responses, notice if they shift or change at all. Breathe into both spirit and body. Breathe into mind and heart. Today, I want to share a beautiful poem with you by Jane Hirshfield. My skeleton, who once ached with your own growing larger, are now each year imperceptibly smaller, lighter, absorbed by your own concentration. When I danced, you danced. When you broke, and so it was lying down, walking, climbing the tiring stairs, your jaws, my bread. Someday you, what is left of you, will be flensed of this marriage. Angular wrist bones, arthritis, cracked harp of rib cage, blunt of heel, open bowl of the skull, twin platters of pelvis. Each of you will leave me behind, at last serene. What did I know of your days, your nights? I who held you all my life inside my hands and thought they were empty. You who held me all your life in your hands, as a new mother holds her own unblanketed child, not thinking at all. What did I know of your days, your nights? I who held you all my life inside my hands and thought they were empty. You who held me all your life in your hands as a new mother holds her own unblanketed child, not thinking at all. I love how Jane Hirshfield can encompass this body aging, this body's pain, and the fact that we will be separated from this body, all the while showing us how lucky we are. So now let's breathe deep into this body, honoring the skeleton, honoring the muscles and the fascia. Honoring the blood circulating in our arteries and veins. The glands that produce the hormones. The organs gently pulsing inside us. Let's honor all that we hold here. All the awareness this body can bring. And let's inhale our hands to our hearts. May we honor all that we do have in our practice today. Namaste. Okay. Let's come to standing. Let's stand with the feet outer hip distance wide and sway lightly side to side, letting the arms sway lightly side to side. And then sway the arms up and bring them over and down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Feeling the weight change as the arms rise and the arms fall. Working in an easeful way. To inhale, arms up, and exhale their release. Notice if you immediately go to your full range of motion. That's okay. But feel into why you make that choice. Does it feel good? Or are you used to pushing at 110%? Pause at the bottom and inhale the arms up the other way. And perhaps at the beginning of practice, you try 70% of effort. Inhaling and exhaling. Opening the feet to hug the floor. Feeling into the sensations of motion. The practice of pratyahara, turning inward. Dharana, concentration. Ahimsa, nonviolence. Svadhyaya, self-study. Santosha, contentment. Pause with the arms low, and then bring the hands back to pack, drawing them up the midline. Press your palms out and inhale, look out over the left fingers. And exhale across to the right. And inhale right. And exhale to center. Releasing the arms and bringing the hands back to pack, up the center channel to the heart. And then pressing the hands out. This time look right first. Inhaling. Exhaling across to the left. And inhaling. Exhaling to center and releasing. Roll one shoulder up, down, and back, and then the other. Really today, let yourself feel what's inside the skin. Let yourself notice the movement of bones, the stretch of tissue, the breath. Let your elbows roll. How much of what is inside can you be aware of today? Now inhale, both hands up right in front of your face, palms out, and draw your elbows back and lift your heart. And then press the hands forward and gently cat curl the spine. And then draw the hands back near the shoulders, lift the heart. And exhale, press the hands. And feel into the bones of your body, moving inside the net of your fascia. Feel how the muscles pull on the bones. How you can invite breath inside to stretch you from the inside and release you. And then pausing with your arms out, lift them skyward and stretch the left hand away from the left foot, the right hand away from the right foot, and feel the sensations of the stretching. Rest your mind into the motion to be aware as a witness of sensation, of movement, of what it is to be alive. Feet grounded, hands rising. Exhale, the arms open into your goalpost position, and exhale, pinkies together, knees bend, cat curl. Inhale, open the heart, and exhale. When you take the hands and elbows back, make sure you also take the humerus bone back in the shoulder girdle. Don't top the humerus bone to rub against the front of the rotator cuff. We're honoring the body, creating space and opening. Open the arms and then rooting the feet. Stretch the hands skyward. Take the right wrist in your left hand and lengthen. Root your heels. Make sure you're not hyperextending your knees, and side bend slightly to the left, keeping the left side body long, especially with osteoporosis. Really ground the left hip, stretch the left side, and don't bend as far. Fluid breath into the body. Breathing space between the vertebrae, between the right ribs. Exhale back to center, rooting your feet. Switch hands. Inhale, long. Exhale, side bend. Inhale into the stretching left side body as you root the right foot and keep the right side long. Invite the breath to open you up from the inside. And exhale back to center and release your arms and roll both shoulders. And step 1 foot forward and 1 foot back and take your rock step. Make sure your feet are at least hip bone distance wide, and maybe step a little wider front to back than you normally do to see if that gives you a little more space as you bend your front knee towards Virabhadrasana 1. Bring your hands to your hips. And with your hands, press down into the hips and lift through the pelvic floor, lengthening the spine, and let the spine twist so that you're facing forward. It's okay not to try to force the back hip around. We used to ask people to do that in yoga. Not everybody's pelvis will do that. So find where your pelvis feels stable and can ground into the legs. Hollow the back leg, groin back, and ground the back outer heel. Lift the inner arch of the back foot and draw a line all the way up to the pelvic floor, and float your arms up as you root the lower body. Lift the low back ribs, lengthen up the spine, lift the heart, lift the back of the skull. Fluid breath into your Virabhadrasana 1. Open towards sky, inviting air and space into the body. And then exhale, bow forward towards earth. Broad across your shoulder girdle, heart open towards earth. Draw in earth and energy and fire. And then inhale back up, drawing in air and space and sky. Exhale your wings down and bow forward. Earth and water and fire. Ground with fire from your pelvis into both feet, rooting your legs, and inhale up, invite in space. And follow your breath, exhaling, bow towards earth. And inhaling, take in sky, all for the benefit of this body this skeleton, this water. And then next time you inhale up, pause again, strong in both legs, balancing your energy down both roots. And release the arms and switch sides with the legs, taking your rock step, grounding your feet. And as you're ready, bending the front knee, remembering we don't want it forward of the ankle. So you step wide enough to make sure it isn't forward of the ankle. The back leg, groin, hollowing back, ground your back outer heel. This helps you lift the inner arch and lift up that inner line of the leg all the way to the psoas, and then lift the psoas in the pelvis, internal to the spine, along the side spine, and lengthen your arms skyward. Rooting from the pelvis down, stretch the spine skyward. Stretch through each finger. Feel each toe on the earth. Invite the breath deep into the low back. And then exhale. Fold towards earth. Broad across your collarbones. Feel for the shoulder blades on the back body. And then inhale. Rise again, lifting. Follow your own breath as you bow. And then inhale up. Really take it slow. Stretch the body open, taking in earth and water, fire, air, and space. All elements that make up this body that we're lovingly witnessing in practice today. And then exhale your arms to your sides and step the feet together and pause in mountain pose. And see what just this practice has done for you today. Relaxing the arms and shoulders, the face and jaw. Relaxing the arms and hands. Stretch the hands out to the side, palms out, fingers spread, and circle the arms. Just small circles with the arms. Grounding through your feet, make sure your knees aren't hyperextending, and draw one palm in front of the other in front of you, and pulse, pulse, and then open the arms wide, lifting the heart. And the other palm forward, pulse, pulse, and open. Now the palm farthest away from you, follow it open, letting your gaze turn to the side. Switch hands and follow the hand the other way. Inhaling as you open, exhaling forward, stretching across the chest. And then release your arms and roll one shoulder and roll the other. Let the shoulders open up. And float both arms up into your T. Feet outer, hip distance wide. Turn the left palm up and the right thumb under. Feel into your shoulder girdle as we snake back and forth, opening the rotator cuff and the back ribs away from the spine. Fluid breath. We are having a blue sky moment here in Grass Valley, California for the first time, and I can't remember how long. Feels good after all that rain. Fluid breath. Inviting that sky, that space, that water into your movement. Come to center and release. And swing your arms up. Let your fingertips touch and swing the arms down and swing them up. and swing them down, and inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Reach and release. Pumping the fluids in the body with our swings. Bring your hands down to the sides and let them swing lightly around your body. Don't try to go into the 100% emotion. Let the swing be small. Feel all the way along the spine and through the shoulder girdle. And then let the swing naturally grow a little bit more involved. Let it unfold. Notice your reactions to any tightness or stiffness you feel. And you hold yourself in loving awareness and let the front hand tap the lung and the back hand tap the kidney, knocking on the door of life. Staying really present for these movements and sensations, honoring what we hold in our hands. Try to feel into this movement like you never have before. Let your consciousness expand. And then pause and step your feet wide and turn the left foot out, taking the right heel back. Open into your star pose and bend your front knee, Viratu. And palms turn up and inhale. And exhale down the center channel of the body and in. And exhale. Let the breath become fluid. The body follow the breath. Unless your breath always moves fast and shallow, then perhaps the body can slow down and the breath can follow the body. I had a private client the other day who told me, I'm always nervous on the inside. It actually slows me down to have the breath follow my body. And if that's true, then let the breath follow a slow-moving body. Let neither breath or body be mindless. Tune in to their wisdom. Inhale your arms up to parallel. Draw the palms forward and draw energy into the heart. Circle the arms open and draw in. Inhaling into the heart. Exhaling, release out of the heart. Legs strong and rooted. Knee not in front of the ankle. Pause in your Viratu. Bring the left hand to the femur, right arm alongside the ear, and from the pelvis, radiate out through the limbs, through the spine. Perhaps you come lower, perhaps not, and bow towards earth and lift the heart towards heaven. Virabhadrasana 2 is a hip opening pose, even as you stand strong in your foundation. And our fluid movements in the upper body help us to open the upper body on the solid foundation of the lower body. Root the lower body and float up in. Come into your dancing warrior, broad across the shoulder girdle, long in the neck. Honor the neck for a moment. Equal weight in front and back foot. Float up to your Viratu and cartwheel into your Trikonasana. Just let it be a high, long, and open Trikonasana. Root it together at the pelvis. Shine out of it from the pelvis. And float back up to standing and turn the left leg in and the right leg out. And open the arms, star pose. and bend the knee, Viratu. Palms up, inhale and exhale. See if you can draw the breath deep into the low back. Invite the breath to fill the whole circumference of the torso. Honor your expanding ribs, your expanding lungs. Ground evenly into both feet from the pelvis. And then hands at the heart open wide. Palms forward, draw the energy in with an inhale. Exhale, expand the arms wide. So the arms are now at the horizon. And the hands move forward and they draw energy in from in front of us to the heart. And then they release it to the sides. Inhaling and exhaling. Fluid breath, opening across your shoulder girdle, strengthening the legs, learning to open the right hip, external rotation, a slight internal rotation of the left. And pause, arms open, right hand to femur, left arm alongside the ear, radiate out from the pelvis, really rooting the legs strong. And perhaps you come lower, and then we bow heart towards earth, and we inhale heart towards sky. And we invite the elements into this beautiful body, earth and water, fire, air and space. And we nourish the body with these elements, balancing and harmonizing them inside our doshas for the vitality of this unique physical form. And then pause in your Parsvakonasana, radiating out from the pelvis again. Draw back in, strong in the core, root the legs, and float into your dancing warrior. Broad across the shoulders, really find that long neck, the lifted heart, the breath. And then exhaling up, straighten the front leg, and keep going into your high Trikonasana. Broad across the shoulder span, really aware from heart out the arms today. Make sure your back leg doesn't hyperextend, and rooting the feet, float back up and turn the right leg in and step together, mountain pose. Notice if it feels like doors are opening to energy flow inside the body. And bring in either your blocks or your chair for a few sun salutations. Standing in front of your props, inhale, arms rise. Exhale, interlace the fingers, bring the thumbs to the base of the skull, elbows wrap around and reach skyward as you lift the base of the skull and lean the head back, standing back bend. Root the tailbone and lift the lowest back ribs. Lengthen along the whole channel of the spine. Try to find space between the ribs. Invite the breath in to help you create space, to feel the air inside you. And if you'd like, keeping the head strong with the front neck flexors, lengthen the arms beside the ears, stretching from your rooting feet into each finger and thumb. And exhaling, folding over into Utkatasana, fierce pose. And with fierce determination, we honor this body through the practice. Fingertips touching our props. Inhale, Legs lengthen, heart lifts. Exhale, step your right foot back. Make sure you're not on a tightrope, and if you'd like to lower the heel for Virabhadrasana 1, do so. And then rooting through the legs, rise. Lift spine and heart skyward. Feel into your own body. How much can you be aware of? And exhale your wings wide and fold forward, bowing towards earth. And inhale, lift. And exhale, bow. Follow your own breath, remembering to gently hug in the banks of your river from the side to activate your glutes to support you in the moving upper body. And then as you're ready, exhale, release the hands down to your props. And if you're on blocks, take them to medium, step back plank. And if you'd like to, gently rock across the toe box, remembering the shoulders don't come forward of the wrists. Feel into the strength. Notice if you've let the head kind of come in like a turtle into its shell, broad across the shoulder girdle, long in the neck. Come down to your knees, lift your heels, lift your heart, lift the heart skyward, lengthen the front spine. For those of us with a tight psoas, this will help us find length there. Lengthen your tailbone towards the backs of your legs. And then bring the toes down. Hands strong on your prop, roll back, downward dog. Fluid breath, long spine. Float one leg up behind you, pelvis strong, and release it down. Grounding it, pelvis staying very central. Lift the other leg and float it down. Deep three-dimensional breath. Downward dog is a great place to practice your three-dimensional breath. And then step your right foot forward. If you're on blocks, bring them to high. Lift the heart. Hug the hips in to create the banks of your river. Lift through the pelvic floor. Shine out of the back leg hamstring as you inhale. Floating the heart up, lengthening the spine. Exhaling your wings and bowing towards earth. Fluid breath. Think of the water and the food you've been feeding this one unique body. Think of the thoughts, the music, the creativity you've been feeding this one unique mind and heart. Make of the practice an offering of movement, a freeing of constriction, contraction, and bring your hands back down to your props, blocks on medium, step back, plank. Gently rocking across the toes if that feels good to you. Lowering to the knees, lifting the heels, lifting the heart. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back. Find a length in the neck. Tailbone towards the backs of the legs. Your glutes may come on board a little bit to reach the tailbone. Lengthen through the front pelvis up the spine. And then roll back on your shins. Now, if you're on the chair, you'll stay standing. You'll just traction your pelvis back. If you're on blocks, wrap your fingers around the front of the blocks and lean your pelvis back. So we're stretching the spine, tractioning the pelvis away from the hands, opening the shoulders. Fluid breath. Inviting the breath between the ribs, between the vertebrae. Maybe you sway very gently side to side, noticing if the stretch increases, if it washes through the body. And then come to center. Come back up onto the hands, rolling the toes under. Roll back into your downward dog. And float the left leg up behind you. Bend the knee and lift the foot skyward and then back towards the right side. Coming into a slight twist with one hip above the other, pressing the foot behind you. Unwind, pelvis level again. Bring the left foot to the floor and float the right leg up behind you. Stack right hip over left as you bend the knee and press the right foot back behind you. Shoulder girdle stays broad in the twist. And then we level the pelvis again and lower the foot and step forward. Heels under sit bones, second metatarsals aligned. Inhale, hands to the heart, Utkatasana, fierce pose. On your next exhale, twist one direction. And then inhale, center. Exhale, twist the other. And inhale, center. Now reach for one block and place it between your thighs. Bring the other block right down underneath your head. And hands back to the heart. Tailbone towards the sky, active core along the spine, lengthen all the way through the neck. And then bring your left hand to your prop. So your left hand could be on the seat of your chair with a block between your legs. And inhale the right shoulder blade onto the back. Really feel the lift of the right front of the humerus bone at the shoulder. Root down into the left hand if you want to open the wing. Fluid breath. Invite length from tailbone to top of head. Feel your skeleton in this position. And then release the right wing, placing it on your prop. The left wing opens, left shoulder blade onto the back. Stay firm in both feet as you press in to the right wing and lift the left. Breathe into the whole of your physical form. Release the hand back down. Place the blocks on the floor in front of you again if you're using blocks. And lift up into Utkatasana. Rooting the heels. Lift the low back rib ring. Lengthen into your standing back bend. Keeping the back of the neck long and the shoulders broad. Exhale, hands to the heart. Release into your mountain pose. Pause with your breath, softening. Can you let go of hypertonic muscles and pause, really just being in the body? And then inhale, arms rise. Exhale, Utkatasana, fierce pose. Pause here for a moment, feeling your feet hugging the ground. Fingertips to your props. Inhale, lengthen the legs, lift the heart. And step your right foot back. Lower the back right heel, keeping the front left knee over the second metatarsals. Windmill your arms up into your Virabhadrasana 2. Place your palms out, spread your fingers, and bring the hands in front of the body to pulse. Pulse one palm in front. Inhale, follow that front palm open. Exhale. Other palm in front. Inhale, follow that palm open. And we open the chest as we move back and forth. Inhaling across the wingspan. Strengthening the lower body. And then pause next time your gaze is towards the forward hand and rest into your Viratu. Rooting from the pelvis through both legs. Turn the palms up, lift them up. Turn your gaze out towards the long side of your mat and reach both hands away from the pelvis. Lengthen both side bodies and then release both humerus bones down into the shoulder girdle and then reach the arms. So you're shrugging up by the ears and release and shrug and release and shrug and release. Open your arms into your Viratu. Turn the palms forward and inhale. Draw energy into the heart and expand your wings. And inhale and expand. Follow your own breath. Feel into your wingspan. And pause, wings open, turning your gaze over the front hand. Back hand comes to the back leg lightly. Dancing warrior. Pause in your pose. Settle into your pose. Feel into what your body can do. And if it feels like you're straining, come out of the pose a little. And feel into yourself taking good care of your body. And then come back up and float the hands back to your props, lifting the back heel. Blocks on medium, step back plank. Rocking across the toes if that feels right for you. Don't do it if it hurts, if you have issues in your toes that prohibit it. Coming to stillness, bring your knees to the floor, lift your heels, lift your heart. Lengthen the tailbone back for the backs of your legs. Side bodies long, side of the neck long. And then float your shins to the floor. Reach your hands or step your pelvis back if you're on a chair. Float back. Long spine. A stretch in the shoulders. Fluid breath. Relaxing on the exhales. Perhaps you sway a little side to side. And then roll back up, lifting into downward dog. Float your left foot up behind you. Foot, bend the knee, foot towards the sky. Take hip over hip and press the foot behind you in a twist. Strengthening the upper body, twisting the spine, opening the pelvis. Bring the pelvis level again and lower the foot. Lift to the other side. Bend the knee, press the foot behind you. Shoulder girdle stays broad and strong down into the arms. And then release pelvis level, release the leg. Take a deep inhale into the 3 dimensions of the torso. Head and neck a little above the shoulders. Step your right foot forward. Coming into your high lunge. Rooting from the pelvis down. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, float your wings open. And in. And exhale. Feel any stretching inside the body. Any stabilizing that you do. And notice the wisdom of the body even when you aren't conscious of it. And then pausing here, put the back heel down, coming into your Virabhadrasana 2. Pausing here for a moment, gaze out over your front fingertips. Relax the shoulders. Relax your hands down towards earth and draw them up the center channel towards the crown chakra, and exhale, release like you're a fountain. Inhaling energy up from earth like you're a geyser in Yellowstone, releasing energy out the top of the head. Inhale, draw that warm water through the body and let it go. Feel into the sensations of standing strong, of movement and breath. And resting your arms open, gaze out over your front fingertips. Look at your front pinky. And as you bring the pinky back behind you, also bring the head of the arm bone back. Both pinkies, the front and the back. And then bring the thumbs forward to touch. And then bring both pinkies wide and back, head of the arm bones back, and thumbs forward to touch. And open, stretching the inhale. And exhale, thumbs touch. And inhale. Let your concentration be in that opening of the shoulder girdle. And pause, hands open, coming into your dancing warrior. Make the pose as easeful and quiet as you can. Fluid and smooth breath. And then float back up, lifting the back heel, hands back to your props. Blocks on medium, step back plank. Rocking on the toes. Notice if there's any opening that's occurred in your ankles and your feet since the beginning of practice. And lower the knees, lifting the heels, lifting the heart, stretching the tailbone long. Broad across the shoulders, lift the base of the skull. Now lift your chin and jut your chin forward, stretching the neck. Feel how that stretches the tissue in the neck. Maybe releasing tension around the thyroid gland. And then release. Roll back. If you're on the chair, wrap your hands around the far part of the seat and lean back, walking your feet back. If you're on the floor, lean your pelvis back, fingers wrapping around the front of the blocks. Play with where to have your head in space. Don't drop it like a heavy fruit through the arms. Perhaps sway gently a little side to side, opening the back of the shoulder girdle. Opening the armpits. And then float back up to your table, lift up to your downward dog. And let's just pause in dog on this side, breathing three-dimensionally into the torso. Long spine out of the hands, head and neck a little above the shoulders, long. Breathing into the whole circumference of the torso. Inviting in air and sky, even as you root to earth, even as you invite the fire to help you hold the pose. And step the feet forward, heels under sit bones, second metatarsals aligned, and reach for a block to bring between your inner thighs. If you're using blocks, place the other block under your head and bring the right hand to the block and open the left wing out. Pause and ground into the right arm from the shoulder. Make sure you're not hyperextending the elbow as you open the left wing. Keep the knees forward. Don't compromise the opening by moving the legs. Really ground into both heel circumferences. Beautiful poses. And then release your wings, bringing the left wing hand to the block or chair. Float the right shoulder onto your back. And grounding into the left hand, float the right wing open. Stretch across your wingspan. Legs are stable and grounded. Knees forward. Fluid breath. And release the hands. Release the block. Hands to the heart. Keeping the knees very stable. Still feel the block between your thighs. Exhale, twisting one direction. Inhale to center. Exhale the other. Inhale to center. And exhale. And inhale. Into your own awareness of this beautiful body. And of all of your perhaps mixed responses to this body. Holding it all in tender, loving kindness. Come back to center and release the arms to swing. And swing the arms skyward, rooting the heels. Interlace your fingers the funny way. Thumbs to the base of the skull. Elbows wrap around. Root the tailbone. Activate the glutes and lift the low rib ring. Lengthen the spine and see if your back bend opens a little farther this time. Find places that still feel contracted and breathe into them. If you'd like to, unfurl your arms, stretch through each finger, and exhale, hands to the heart. Mountain pose. How much can you soften while you stand here? Okay. Let's come to the floor. If you have a bolster, bring that in. You may want to put on your sweaters and socks. Bring your bolster or your blanket roll to do a back bend over the top of. Okay. Socks and sweaters. Make sure that you're going to be warm as we settle into our Shavasana today. I'm going to turn off a few of these lights now. I so much prefer natural light. Okay. Now, as you come to your mat, I'm going to invite you to bring your shoulder blades to the hip side of the bolster, right? So it's kind of like your shoulder blades are going a little uphill on the bolster. And then bring your hands, and this can be a small blanket roll. So if you have a kyphotic upper spine where you're kind of calcified forward, then you want a smaller blanket roll perhaps to fold over. But if your spine's open enough for your bolster, then have your block as a pillow on the other side of the bolster and bring your shoulders up and over far enough that your arms can open to a T right at the top of the bolster. Now, if this is not comfortable for the head of your arm bones, if they feel forced into the front of the rotator cuff, Then bring your hands to your heart and place your elbows on the bolster. If the T position doesn't feel right for you, you can try the hands overhead position, bringing the palms to face each other overhead towards the sky, and then letting the palms open skyward as you let them rest overhead. You may need them to land on blocks. Now your feet are still on the floor, knees bent. Lift your pelvis and lengthen the low back, and then release your pelvis again. If your pelvis isn't touching the floor, you'll need a blanket under the pelvis. And then if you'd like to, you can lengthen out the legs. So we stretch open the heart center, the chest, the arms, in whichever of these positions you've chosen. We breathe deep into the heart center. We exhale and relax the heart. Can you feel into what's there for yourself? Yeah, Sherry, I see you looking. Yeah, so whatever position feels right for you. And feel free to modify and then ask questions after class. If what you're doing doesn't feel good, come out of it. Do a back bend that feels right for you. And when you get into that back bend, invite the breath into the heart center and to expand from the heart center into the ribs. Relaxing on the exhales, relaxing the eyes and the jaw and the base of the skull. Keeping the back of the neck long. Relaxing the chest and the heart on the exhales. Relaxing the body into the hug of gravity. And you may switch arm positions during the time. So maybe you have the arms in a T for a while, and then you reach them overhead for a while. Then you place the elbows on your bolster. All the while noticing what's happening in the body. I see you, I feel you, I'm here, I love you. I want this marriage to work out. I want to honor you, body, as best I can. I want to honor you, heart and mind and spirit. Because though we may separate these things in our consciousness, they aren't separate. Let's exhale the hands back up, hands to the heart. Rest for a moment, elbows on the bolster. And then reach your hands behind your skull. Walk your legs back in and support the head as it rises, and you roll over. And take your bolster now down the mat so that it can be beneath your knees. And roll yourself back, reaching for your blankets, your eye pillow if you have one, and resting into a simple Shavasana today. If you'd like a hip opener, you can draw your feet up onto the bolster, feet palm to palm, knees wide. If that doesn't feel good in your pelvis, don't do it. Perhaps rest your hands on your belly. And if your lovely pet has come to visit, hug your lovely pet. Even the spirit of your pet. Fluid breath. Feel into what is wrapped inside your skin. The bones, the spacers of your body. The heart, the lungs, the miles of arteries and veins and capillaries. Feel into it all. Unlike the speaker in the poem, notice what you hold in your hands. If your mind wanders away, bring it back to noticing the breath, to all that resides inside your skin. Let your mind and heart open to all of your life's experiences and feel into those that you're grateful for. And let the body know what it is you've been grateful for. Perhaps it's the taste of your favorite food, or the feel of the breeze on your cheek, or the strength in a yoga pose. Let the gratitudes for what you've sensed and felt and experienced wash through you now. And now gently bring energy back into fingers and toes, noticing each one. Lift your hands towards the sky and your feet towards the sky and let them shake gently. Get some energy moving in the limbs again. Release the lymph. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. And then hug the knees in towards your chest. And let yourself roll gently over. And come up as you're ready to your comfortable seat. Let's inhale into the whole circumference of the torso. Feel your ribs expand. Soften on your exhales. And inhale the hands to the heart. May we recognize all that life has offered us. Namaste. Thank you.